See in the mirror, the left one's a little bent. There you go. Good, good, good. Nice. Lock them out. Lock out the elbows, guys. All the way. Press and release.
Abs engaged.
This one you should feel in your upper trap. A little bit. I mean, it should feel like muscle work. It shouldn't feel like you're doing this. But I mean, even just to keep your arms up, you're going to have to engage the trap, the deltoid, all those muscles in there. All right, let's get you guys on your back again. Kind of a nice, variety, right? You go from the easy to hard. You can relax a little bit right here. So when you guys were kids, did you guys make snow angels in the snow? Right? Okay, we're doing snow angels just with your upper body. So your legs are still knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Your upper body now, let's start with your hands down by your hips, with your palms facing the floor. And you're going to keep contact with your hands into the floor, keep your elbows straight. You're going to slide them up to shoulder level. Lauren, go ahead and bend your knee. When you get to shoulder level now, you're going to flip your palms up toward the ceiling. Make sure you do that with your entire arm. You're not just flipping the wrist. It's not just like this. It's that whole arm moving and flipping. And then go ahead and continue over your head. Then come back down to shoulder level. Flip the palms down again, and then go back down toward the hips. So you can actually make this not really hard, but you can make it very deliberate. So keep your elbows not only straight, but actually squeeze your triceps tight. So yeah, you want to flip your palms up when you're up over your head, yeah.
When do they want to stop the range of motion?
So when you go up, everyone's going to have a point where the range of motion is going to become compromised if you try to go any higher. Remember when we did pullovers and I told you to stop before you feel a stretch? You guys remember that? Basically the same idea holds true here. That this should really feel like the easiest thing in the world. And if you're getting so high that your shoulders are stretching or it's like so much work, or that one could have if it's so tight, you don't want to go that high. So it should feel really good. Also, one other thing to keep in mind. As you're bringing your arms up over your head, if your shoulders are tight, they're not going to be able to open anymore. So your lower back has a tendency to compensate if you go too far. So don't go too far. Instead of going past that, just stop. Stop and go right back down. And eventually your shoulders will release. Yep. Good. Okay. This is another really big progression. Go ahead and stand with your back against the wall. So these exercises that we do on the floor, the type of client that I would give these to is someone who is not too concerned about getting a workout, right? Like if someone comes in here and they're like, what I really want is just to get rid of this 15 extra pounds. I want to get some muscle. I want to get, and I go, okay, great. Yeah, you want to add some muscle. Let's do this. No, that's not going to fly. They're going to go, what are you giving me here? I'm not going to gain any muscle doing this. So this exercise, which is just level 2 of what you just did, will put on muscle. So we had a client, actually, a young guy, he's probably mid-30s, 34, 35, in a tremendous amount of pain, like back pain. They did some weird funky fusion on his back. They burned his nerves. I mean, all these crazy things. The crazy thing is he's also a doctor. So he's like, I know all this stuff, but I don't know how to fix my body. So anyway, we started him all the way at the ground floor, right, level 1. Just gradually progressed him. I told him, I said, you should stop lifting weights for 6 months. Stop basketball. Stop everything that causes even a little pain. And so he agreed, and he dedicated himself just to this for 6 months. So again, our goal was just pain-free, right?
Came in 5 days a week.
The goal's here. And he came in 5 days a week for 2 months, and then he dropped down to 4, then 3. So he was on 3 days for a while at the end. So that's a commitment right there, right? So our main goal, we're looking at him and we're trying to get him balanced, right? We don't care about the workout, we're trying to get him balanced. So we started progressing through the system, and I remember he was doing this exercise one day that you guys are about to do. So it's here, it's basically snow angels, but you're standing right there. It's called side lateral raises. And I noticed, I looked at his upper back and I said, oh my gosh, you look just buff. I mean, he looked really strong, right? And he's like, yeah, I have noticed I've been getting like beefy up here, right? And that wasn't the goal, but he got stronger up there because we just started pulling him open, and he was getting his traps, his lats, all that development. So, long story short, this is more of the workout portion of that exercise, right? This is more range of motion when you're on your back, but when you're fighting gravity, it gets a little harder. So, go ahead and pull your heels back to the wall, feet straight ahead, thighs tight. Good. Lauren, go a little wider with the toes. Just turn them out. Yeah. Okay. Elbows straight, bring your pinkies to the wall. Now in this one, remember in Snow Angels we were here, we went up and flipped there. In this one we're actually palms facing in. And you're going to go up here, when you get to shoulder level, your palms are down to the floor. Yeah, and then rotate, palms up, and then continue. Now it's a lot easier to tell when somebody should not be going too high on this one. Like Lauren, your shoulders are coming out, yeah, and your back has a tendency to hyperextend. So keep going a little more up, right there, that's it, and then back down. That's all it is. Because everything else, to go any higher, you started doing this. And that's a different exercise, so we don't want that right now. Yeah. Good. Yeah, straighten your arms, John. There you go, good. Yeah, and right there, and then you were here, and when I said straighten them, you were able to, but then you went like 2 more inches and they started bending it. So that's probably your limit too. A little bit low right there, yeah.
You want depression or retraction?
So, well, you guys don't have to be like all the way down like this, because as you come up, there is going to be a little bit of shoulder separation, but you don't want to be up here. So, kind of find the balance in between. Yeah. Let's work on your rotation. Go up shoulder level. Rotate. Yeah, right there. Right there. Good. Now go ahead and go up. Pause right there. Okay, go ahead. Pause right there. That's your limit. Feel the elbows. They're not bent much, but they're breaking a little bit. Yeah. Now, this exercise, level 2, I would say to progress up to level 3, someone should be able to do 1 minute 3 times. So 3 sets of a minute. So you do a minute, take a 10-second rest, do another minute, 10-second rest, and a 3rd minute. And then we can go to the next exercise, which is the same thing except you're holding weights. And with the weights, I would only go up to shoulder level. You don't need to go up all the way.
Or off wall?
Or you can do, yeah, I'll get that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so weights. And then off wall. Remember the off wall elbow curls? Step forward a little bit. Off wall side lateral raises is a whole new ball game. Now, Lauren, you are going to snap your shoulder up if you try to do it from there. So I'm going to give you a marker. If you guys feel like you need a marker, this is how far you're going to step forward. Anyone else want a pillow to get a? Yeah. Anyone else? Good one pillow, or yeah. Just so you guys know, I mean, it's like 4 or 5 inches, so that's about how far. Yeah, so you guys are good. All right, come. Let me give you a pillow because you can go a little farther. Might even hear good. Okay. So the trick here. Now you're gonna straighten your elbows so nothing's touching the wall, right? Now, see how my shoulders are forward? I'll exaggerate it, but shoulders are forward. What I want you to do is first pull your shoulders back, but leave your hands where they are. And now, though, bring your hands back. Right there. Now, there's a big difference, see if you guys can see it, between this, right? See that? See my shoulders moving? Lower back is still neutral. There's a difference between that and that, right? This is too much arch. So, neutral arch, right there, and then just pull the hands back.
What about arm goes back, no shoulder movement?
Or the arm, another compensation, relax for a second. Another thing that we see people do, let's say they're rounded here, and I say, okay, bring your hands back to the wall, and they go like this. right? That's not good either, right? Because I did not do that with my shoulder. I did that just by reaching the hand. This is a good way to get your shoulder just really, really messed up. So, right there, you're touching the pinkies to the wall. Now go ahead and come up, flip. Now this one's real easy. You know when you cannot go any farther up, when you cannot touch the wall. If your hands are off the wall, you should not be going up anymore. Too much back.
Oh.
All the way down, all the way down. Okay. Now as you go up, go really slow, and I want you to just focus only on this, right?
Keep your head straight.
That arch.
Anything for all that loses.
Hold on, hold on. See, palms down, right here. Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Super flexible shoulder.
Can't you keep them retracted the whole time?
The gymnast. Yeah, keep them here.
Keep going. So like, do we have to try to keep our core solid though?
For this one, yeah. So if you guys notice a lot of the exercises where you're lying on your back, we want you to stay relaxed while you do them. We want your abs to stay relaxed. On the level 3, you can force it down, right? You can force this to stay in position. Force it here. And now I'm coming up, right? Definitely. Yeah. Who's feeling it? A little bit? Yeah. Cool. All right. Let's get you guys on your backs again. 153. Wow, we are. Does take a little bit of time. Okay, go ahead and lie down on your side, actually. Okay, and now bend your knees so that if you have a straight line, you have a straight line through your ears, shoulders, hips, and feet. And your knees are just forward of that, right? Okay. Take your top hand. Imagine like I'm laying down with my left side on the floor. My top arm is like this. Right? I'm sure you guys have seen this. Rotator cuff? Yeah. Okay. So the big difference here, and what you want to make sure of, remember that last exercise, off-wall side lateral raise? You're moving the shoulder back. Remember this? This is bad, right? Shoulder forward, hand back. It's just going to round you forward. So when you're here, pull the shoulder here. Let it sit back. Pull your elbow down toward your hip. And now, up and down. So think of this being initiated from the shoulder blade. Normally you guys would be holding a weight anywhere between 1 pound and, I don't know, I wouldn't go too far past 7 pounds, 8 pounds. If you're doing this in the middle of your workout, I've done this before, like a shoulder workout. Maybe I'm doing weights with side lateral raise, I'm doing overhead press, I'm doing some rows, something like that. I'll throw this in the middle of my workout and add some weight to it, 10 or 15 pounds, and get it to fatigue pretty quickly. So that's one parameter. Another parameter would be go lighter weight, do more reps. That would be more for endurance, stabilization.
Should there be any arch in the back?
A small arch. Same thing though as before. Neutral arch. So again, like 1 hand width if there was an imaginary wall behind you. Go ahead and switch arms. So are you guys able to produce tension in the upper back? Yeah, even without a weight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And even before you do the movement, you should be able to produce tension because you're reaching your elbow down toward your hip. Everyone has different proportioned bodies, but you should be able to get your elbow really close to your hip, if not touching your hip. Not your hip, but your pelvis, the top of your pelvis. Okay, good. So that is level 1. What that's called is external rotation of the humerus. Remember, the humerus is the upper arm. That is external rotation. See that movement I just did though? This? We're going to do that now, standing. So this is level 2. So go ahead and stand with your back against the wall. Up and down, up and down. So when I teach a class, what I try to do is keep everyone in one spot. Do all the exercises in that one spot. Then you guys get up, do all the exercises up. With this, because we're going bracket by bracket, of course you're going down and up and down and up and down and up. Okay, so feet straight, thighs tight, sitting nice and tall, neutral back, all the checkpoints from the bottom up. Now, bend your elbows, drop your shoulders down, pinch your shoulders back, and pull your elbows back at the same time. And again, try not to do that. That's all back, right? Do it with your shoulder blades. See how I'm moving my chest and upper back, but my lower back stays the same, right? So elbows back, shoulders down. Now this is the most important position. You could do this exercise without even rotating. You could just stay here. And then let me see, make sure that I got it. Okay, you guys see my shoulders? Now, the angle, like from the neck to the shoulder? That, right? I'm pulling down. I'm using my lats and I'm pulling down like that. So if you round here, you can't do the exercise in this position, right? So go down here first. Down, back. Then once you're there, open. Yeah.
Wrist should hit the wall
And this is just a static hold, so just reach back and hold. So okay.
with the elbows touching the
Now,
ribs.
If you do it like this, you're gonna have the kind of false belief that, oh yeah, I can touch the wall, right? This is what we gotta do to change it. Bring it in, elbow in, touch your elbow here. Hold this.
I think you're like this.
Don't let it go.
I'm not gonna let
No.
Okay, hold that. Okay, now this. Okay, just hold that
No,
down.
it's my paws.
Hold this
So
down.
like, if I'm
Squeeze
like
it.
this, then
Squeeze it to the wall. Squish it.
but if I do wall sit.
Yeah, I could shake it back there. You got.
That's
got it.
compensation.
Uh-huh.
Like squeeze my finger. Yeah.
We don't want any compensations.
Bend the whole. So this part of your back, so I can touch it. Don't let me touch it. You should have that touching the wall. It's gonna all of a sudden be really hard for you. Close that. And then keep this in. Right. This. Don't let me move. Squish my finger. So don't let me take it out. Yeah.
The rotator cuff is the opposite of the pec with the rhomboids as well. So this
Look.
this is what's going to open your chest.
Don't let me move. They shouldn't be moving like this. Squish my finger. Pull it back. There you go. Let me give you a little proprioception. Proprioception is basically your body's internal ability to feel. So go ahead and go here again. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, I'm going to push your shoulders back. Exhale. Okay, that's just so you can feel it. Now, anchor your upper back so you can. Oh, now when you did that, when you engaged your supposedly upper back, you did this. Okay, so let's do it one more time. I'm going to just lightly press your shoulders. You're going to anchor back that direction. Ready? Inhale. Exhale. Good. Anchor your back. Okay, now pull your elbows in. Nice. Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah. Cool. Does that feel different? Yeah. So all that is, you guys know, you guys ever see the code, like computer code? There's just ones and zeros, right? 1, 0, 1, and like with that code, they can write any program anywhere, right? Imagine in a way your muscles are like ones and zeros. A 1 is it's on, a 0 is it's off. So the reason why, so these are zeros right here, right? You have 0, they're not on, they're not able to engage. One reason is because these are not strong enough, but another reason is because the opposite, like Aaron was saying, your pec, is too engaged. So it's not able to go to a 0. Every muscle should be able to go 1, 0, 1, 0. But if you have a muscle that's stuck at a 1 or stuck at a 0, right, both of those are problems. And they're actually usually two sides of the same coin because in this case, right, this is a very common dysfunction, by the way, in the shoulder. In this case, you have too tight here, there's too stuck in the 1, right? And then this is not able to get tight enough to pull you back. So, yeah. Okay, so once you're there, boom, rotate here. So this is just a 1-minute hold. So everyone come in a little bit tighter into your elbows into your sides. We're going to do what's called T breathing. Imagine a capital T. Breathe into here. And then breathe out your chest that way. So it looks like a T, right? So come up here and then out. So it's going to be like this. And you're broadening right here. And that's stretching the pecs from the inside. So you're actually using the breath to stretch. Nice. All right, the level 3, you guys have done that one already. Go ahead and come on your hands and knees. That's the elbow curl, one hand elbow curl. This. Go ahead and come on your hands and knees. So remember, you're touching the elbow to the inside of the other elbow, not to the forearm, but to the actual elbow.
Should my spine rotate, or should it just solely be the
A
shoulder?
little bit, yeah. We can get a little bit of spinal rotation. Yeah. Yeah. Make sure though that you max out the shoulder
Keep that
function
arch.
first before you start that rotation. Yeah.
A little harder.
Mm-hmm.
Pinch my finger right here.
Okay.
And
Switch
rotate all the way
switch
up,
arms
up,
if you
up,
haven't
up,
done
up,
so
up.
already.
There you go. And then switch sides.
Okay. Go ahead and stand up. Next bracket. So I think we have 3 more brackets in this shoulder unit. Shoulder rolls. So you're just gonna be right here. So you can be in the middle of the room for this one. So look at your feet. Make sure they're straight. Thighs tight. The reason we want to keep our feet straight is that if you're like this, what that's doing, remember the 1s and 0s I was talking about. The over tight muscles are all these glute, external rotators, and the weak muscles are all these. So if you stand here, you definitely need to strengthen the weak muscles, but just standing here puts you in the position where you can feel what straight means. And then from there, you're rotating the rest of the body for the shoulder. You cannot affect one part of your body, or you can't change one part of your body without it affecting everything.
Turn the right foot in.
So when you make your feet go straight, that actually shifts
The
the
other
position
foot,
of
just
your
the right
pelvis.
foot.
When your pelvis is straight, that shifts
See
the
those
position of
toes
your
are
lower
pointing
back.
all the way this way?
Lower back straight, that shifts
There
the
you go.
position of your upper
Yeah,
back.
right there, right there.
So everything affects everything else. Good. And switch
Turn the toes in.
directions with the rolls.
Right there. Turn the toes in a little more. Right there. That's straight.
Okay, so that's level 1. Level 2 is what you did in class with the arm circles. So bring your arms out here, shoulders down, and you're rotating forward. So now, imagine somebody who can't even do shoulder rolls properly, like one of the compensations we'll see is it's a little choppy, it's like shaky like this. And someone gets like that when they're spending a lot of time with their arms down below their shoulders, like they're here at the keyboard, they're writing. They never do this. They never do this. So they're choppy like this, choppy, right? So someone who can't even do that, we would never, ever, ever even think of putting them in arm circles. Probably just mess them up.
Question I have is, so sometimes it feels like you can do like scapula or shoulder blades down, back locked, and you feel like your humerus is just kind of rolling in the socket, or should this be a whole kind of shoulder girdle movement?
The first one.
The first one.
The shoulder girdle should be locked,
Okay,
and then it's humerus in the socket.
got it.
Yeah. Good, okay. And then again, palms up, backwards.
Elbow versus shoulder movement with this one.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So if you engage your tricep, you can actually make it so that your entire arm is one unit. Even though there are 3 muscles of your arm, there's the humerus and then the radius and ulna, you can make it almost functionally like there's only one. This is what you want to do. You want to lock it out so hard that every little millimeter of movement in your upper arm gets translated into your wrist. As opposed to like this, where, see how it's kind of flimsy and the energy's all being lost in my elbow. Instead of this, it's all transferring to the movement of the hand. Okay, go ahead and rest. Level 3. Now you've mastered arm circles. What do you do now?
Weights.
You could do weights, yeah. So that's that. So weights, I would say technically would be in level 2, but you'd just be working the different parameters in level 2. So you could add weight. You could add time, say, all right, perfect, we're doing this for 5 minutes, go. Or 20 pounds, not 3 pounds maybe. But as far as increasing exercise complexity, we are gonna go hands and knees. And we're gonna do arm circles on your hands and knees. Both arms.
Let's take a face plant.
Yeah.
Pick an arm and just bring it to the side. And now you want to point the thumb down toward the floor and circle around your shoulder joint. Same concept applies here. The elbow is locked. The shoulder
that arch
blade
in
is
the back
locked,
a little
and
more.
You're rotating from
More.
the socket.
Tilt the hips forward. Stick the butt up to the sky.
Get
Keep
that
that
opposite hollow
arch.
body,
There you go.
opposite hollow body, that extension.
Relax the abs. Relax the abs.
Now, when you're okay, let me back up. There
Pinch
are
this
three,
back.
there
Pinch,
are
pinch,
three
pinch the shoulder
heads to
blade.
the deltoid, which is the shoulder muscle. There's
Get the
front,
together
side,
right
and
there.
back. The standing arm circles hit the side right here, the lateral. This one is hitting
Bring
the
that in
back,
right there.
the posterior,
Pinch it. Pinch
which
these
is the
together.
same muscle that you were
Are you able
hitting
to
when
get
you were
both
doing
shoulder
wall
blades
presses.
touching? There you go.
But in this one, you're also hitting the rhomboids, the trap, and then it's also unilateral. So you guys will notice that just keeping your body straight is very hard. Like you want to shift, right?
It's super easy to try to like compensate with the upper trap and
Scrunch it up,
shrug your shoulder, but keeping it down and back is.
Yep. Okay, go ahead and flip your hand, thumb to the ceiling.
Oh,
Same arm. Same arm.
Same arm, nope. And go backwards.
Stay on the
Elbow
same
locked.
arm.
Don't just straighten your elbow, lock your elbow. Stay a little bit, little more arch. There, a little more. And then walk your hand forward a little. Your left hand. Left hand forward, forward.
Should be a lot of tension in the shoulders.
Yeah. And then shift your shoulder over your belt. Shift your shoulder forward over your wrist. Right there you go. Sorry, I just made it a lot harder. Man, got it. Just about 2 more minutes. Okay, go ahead and switch on. Switch on. Thumbs down first, sorry. Thumbs down, forward rotation, forward rotation.
Is there ever a time you do like palms down, backward, reverse rotation, or is it usually palms down? Because I've noticed in a couple of the exercises, it's almost always forward, palms down, and palm reverse.
So, I mean, I'm sure you could, but just the way when we do the exercises, anytime you're coming kind of up, an upward motion, with it, we'll rotate external. So it's like if we're going upward here in the arm circle, we'll go backwards.
Got it.
The anatomy of the shoulder permits that. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, anytime, like say, for example, like, snow angels, when we were here on your back, if you tried to do snow angels with your palms down to the floor, all the way up, first you couldn't do it.
Be sure.
And then it's just, you're going to pop that shoulder out.
Your shoulder.
Yeah, okay. Like, a good example of that is one exercise that I used to do a lot. This is an Egoscue exercise that I now totally do not believe in at all. And everyone does it too. You guys see that? Everyone does that at work?
Yeah.
Oh, my back hurts. So what are you doing in that? You're
Lauren did that this
massively-
morning with the pullovers.
what?
Your hands went in that
your hands
position.
were that? Yeah, you do that. This massively internally rotates your arms, which is fine if I'm down here or even here. But as soon as I go up over my head, the body naturally needs to externally rotate here. I should be back like that, not aim like that. So if you ever try to do that exercise, just remember you should. Okay. Next exercise. Okay, we're going back to a level 1. Let's do goal
Shoulders
pose.
on fire already.
This is Grant's goal post right here. You're going to be on your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Bring your arms out to that bench press kind of position here. Then you're going to rotate, you're going to reach your hands to the floor and come back up. Keep your elbows in the same spot. Now
That's
you...
down?
not that way. So yeah, good question. So just go from here, where your fingers are pointed to the ceiling, go down that way, and go right back to the start. Don't go this way. Because again, that's kind of the same thing with that internal rotation that I was just talking about, where it's too, you're up too high to get that internal rotation. Another exercise that I'm not a fan of, that I do a modification of it, but it's the upright row. So if you grip the weight or a kettlebell or something and you come up like this, now I'm getting my elbows above my shoulders and I'm now internally rotated. So, but it hits the shoulder pretty well. So what I'll do is I'll take 2 dumbbells and I'll just go like this. like that. Now I have more of a neutral rotation. I'm coming up and down.
Now, the reason why internal rotation isn't good is because everyone is already internally rotated. So why would you want to go further into internal rotation? Now, if we came across somebody who's too externally rotated, which I've never seen in my life.
I've only seen one person.
Yeah, so I've never seen too much external rotation. Then we would give them all internal rotation. So it's opposite of what your body wants. That's what we do.
So go ahead and go to the end point of the range of motion, which is wrists and hands on the floor. Now you're going to slide up and slide down. Now this one's called floor glides. This is still a level 1. So the goalposts and floor glides are both level 1, except you need to have goalposts mastered before you get the floor glides in. Goalpost has to be mastered.
Wrist should be on the floor easily without forcing it.
Okay, that's floor glides. Go ahead and stand up. This is another example where you can make this next exercise extremely hard, and I actually do this during my workout. Go ahead and stand with your back against the wall. I'll add some weights to it. Bring your hands up shoulder level. Feet straight ahead, thighs tight. This is goalpost standing up. So you're just going to rotate here. Now you should be able to touch your wrist to the wall in order. If you want to do weights, you should already be able to touch the wrist to the wall without hyperextending your back. Okay.
You're allowed to anchor your core.
Yes. Yep. Anchor your core. If you can engage it enough where your back stays neutral and then you kind of force this up, that's good.
Those feet straight lower.
Okay.
Right there.
And then, just like that last progression, if you can do this and you can touch the wall, then you can start doing this. So go ahead and go up.
Shoulders, elbows, and wrist back on the wall.
Now, if anybody wants to do an overhead press with weights, but you can't do this, you can't do overhead press.
Correctly,
Correctly, right. You could try.
without getting injured.
Okay, and then the level 4, this one has a level 4. It's wall glides, but it's in the sitting floor position. So have a seat like this with your entire back against the wall, and then you're going to do wall glides.
Just come to the elbow.
Now this
Let's
one's
touch.
harder because when you're standing, you have a small arch in your lower back, and that actually helps your arms get up higher. If you are flat, if your lower back is flat, now all the extension has to come from your upper back. It is way harder. It's harder for all you guys, right? It feels harder? A lot harder, right?
I must
So-
not be doing it right because it feels easier.
Easier? Well, your hamstrings are super
Keep
flexible.
the shoulder blades pinched.
And so,
And
I'm
don't
not
let it come
surprised
apart
it's
at all.
easier for you
If it comes
for
apart,
everyone.
stop the
So,
range of
is it
motion.
a lot harder for you?
And just right here,
a
like
lot,
this, 90
right?
degrees.
So,
More.
I would say there's a big
More.
issue with your hamstrings.
No, straight up.
So,
If the
and
shoulder
this is what I
blades
mean
come
by that.
apart, though,
See when
stop
I'm
the range of
standing,
motion.
right?
They should
I
be
have an arch
pinched
in
the
my
whole
back.
time.
And as I start to go down,
Keep them
I
pinched,
still
pinched,
have an
pinched,
arch, but
pinched,
there's going to come a point where
Are they
it's round.
touching
See
still?
that?
I think they are.
Right there. So if your back is rounding, your
Go up.
hamstrings aren't
Right there, stop.
able to lengthen
Right there,
enough.
go right back down.
And so if I put you in this position
Right back
now,
up.
instead of being up like this,
Yeah, that's
like
actually pretty
this.
good. Good.
and now you're like slouched the whole back, and now in order to open up your shoulders, you really, the best way to open up your shoulders here is to extend more instead of taller with your back. So that's a good example where your lower body is directly connected to your upper.
Yeah, your hamstrings can be too loose.
For sure. I had a yogi.
I think I have that problem.
Do you remember Maddie?
Yes, how is he?
He's good. He's doing like crazy yoga studio now. He's
Is
awesome.
he?
He's rocking and
I
rolling.
thought about him the other day. I was like, I wonder
But,
who it was.
but he came in because he said his chief complaint was that he had tight hamstrings. That's what he said. but he's
That's
the most
what I thought for
flexible.
so long.
He's the most flexible guy I've ever seen, and you're probably the most flexible woman I've ever seen. Like, just you guys are like hitting your elbows on the floor. So he's like, yeah, I have tight hamstrings, and I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, dunk, and he touched his elbow to the floor, and I was like, what? How are your hamstrings tight? And it was just interesting. And basically, what it was is that compared to the rest of his body, his hamstrings were too flexible, and not able to actually engage enough. So you know what he actually started doing was he started doing kettlebells with the San Jose State coach, and that helped him out because kettlebells is all about the hamstring and glute. It's like boom, like right there, and that helped him out a lot.
So I'm definitely having issues.
Yeah, do some kind of
Deadlifts.
deadlifts.
We have some
kettlebells.
hamstring exercises for you.
Yeah, and I would just say don't stretch your hamstring anymore. Do hamstring curls even, just basic stuff. Yeah. Okay, so I think, what did I say, one more unit or two? Yeah, one more unit. Okay, we already did this one. We can skip this one. Pullovers, weighted pullovers, standing pullovers. You guys remember those, right?
How about pullovers with leg raises?
That's
That's
four.
hollow body, yeah.
Next unit. Okay, do you have any questions on the shoulder unit? Yeah, Lauren.
I noticed some of the exercises I could either like do them in a wall sit or I can do them like laying flat, but I can't do them against the wall. So is that because of my quads or is
So let's pick an example and we can look at it.
like I don't remember exactly, but like these.
Rotator cuff.
Mm-hmm.
Rotator cuff in a wall set.
Uh-huh.
You
Like
can do it really easily.
yeah.
Well,
Or
let's
what's
see.
the rotator cuff exercise?
Okay, just hold.
Uh-huh.
A little bit. So that feels easy.
It doesn't.
I wanna try not to.
I feel like I'm able to.
Okay, and then go ahead and stand up and do it.
Well, I guess maybe not easy, but
But it's doable.
uh-huh.
And then go ahead and do it standing. That gets a little harder.
Yeah. Like
It looks about the same, but what I'm guessing proprioceptively, what you're probably feeling, is that when you're standing up, your quads are not engaging.
uh-huh.
And when you're down, you're able to engage your quads connect to your pelvis is now stable.
Uh-huh.
A stable pelvis will allow more range of motion up top. An unstable pelvis, it's like shooting a cannon from a canoe. Right?
And that's exactly why we start with hips.
Yeah, that's exactly why we start with hips, exactly, yeah. So you can be totally messed up in your shoulders, and we're still gonna go to your hips first.
Uh-huh.
So,
And her quads killed her every hip exercise, she said.
yeah. So in that case, what I would do, I probably wouldn't give you the wall sit with those right away. I would say probably sitting, squeezing a pillow. Squeezing a pillow instead of a strap because you said you tend to go out when you do the sit-up and when you do all those other things. Your outer thigh was hurting.
Uh-huh.
So now I don't like killing birds, but now we're killing two birds with one stone. We're pulling you in, we're engaging the hips, and then we're opening up the shoulders.
And on clamshells, external was all the way to the wall. Internal, it moved like 2 inches.
Right.
Yeah, so
So see how I just took like 3 or 4 things Aaron put in his evidence? All we're doing is gathering evidence on why you need certain exercises. And then saying, okay, based on that evidence, I'm throwing away exercises too. I'm like, definitely not the strap because you're already external. Definitely not standing because you're not able to engage the quads while you're standing. And, throwing away stuff, and then we finally get to the one exercise. So sitting with the pillow, external rotation. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Anyone else? Yeah.
How do you get your hamstrings more flexible?
Good question. So there's a lot. So, okay. So if you imagine any muscle, right? Here's a muscle. It's natural length. Its resting position is about that. When it stretches, it gets to about here. When it contracts, it gets to here. So sometimes it's an issue, right? Like it's not only that you can't get here with the stretch, but it's also that you can't get the contraction. So what we want to do is we want to get your body to be able to do this more. So that's regular hamstring curls. What I would add to a hamstring curl though is like a stretch. So yeah, what is it called? It's kind of a peanut type thing. So like a tightening and then release and then stretching.
a reciprocal inhibition type
Reciprocal
thing.
inhibition, yeah. What you want to work on also, so what that term that Aaron just said, reciprocal inhibition, I'll break it down. Reciprocal means opposite, and inhibition means you're inhibiting or turning off, remember from the 1 to the 0? You're turning off a muscle by engaging the opposite.
So I gave you the strap right there. You could use it as a bicep or tricep or a
So
quad.
here's an example with your hamstring, right? So the hamstring, when it's tight, well, the hamstring does this, right? If I tighten my hamstring, my hip will lift up. my hamstring releases this way, right? So this is hip flexor activating, my hip flexor and my quad. Now, your hamstring flexibility issue is also a combination of the quad and hip flexor not being able to engage. So I would do things like this first. I would do leg raises, thigh tight. How did you do with this exercise?
Pretty decent, I guess.
Wasn't able to go into 90 though.
Yeah, so what I would do, instead of stopping here, I would go all the way up, go as far as you can. Now, at this point, two things are happening that I feel internally. I feel a hamstring stretch, and I feel my quad and hip flexor tightening like crazy. So you want to get to that point. You want to get to the point where you have, this one is going more to contraction, this one's going more to relaxation, and then go back down. Up, all the way, and back down. So do probably a minute on each leg, and then I would do static wall. So actually, let's walk you through it. Go ahead and go on your back. And let's do a little test. Actually, wait, before you go down, sorry. Come on up. Try to touch your toes.
Without bending my...
Yeah, don't bend your knees, just go straight down. Okay. How much tension do you feel in your hamstrings, 1 to 10?
I'd say 8.
8 out of 10 tension, meaning a lot of tension, right? Look how rounded his back is too, you guys. You guys see that? Okay. So you're getting a lot of the bend from your back instead of your hips. And you're about barely touching your toes, right? Okay. Go ahead and come up. Okay. Go ahead and do that exercise I just showed you, this one. On your back, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. One leg out straight, thigh tight, and rest your head. Lift your right leg up. Keep this as tight as you can, like absolutely as tight as you can, and lift it up. Go past your knee. Get to that point where you feel that contraction in the front of your leg and the release in the back. That's pretty good. And go back down. Let's just do 5 total. Don't rest it though. Don't rest it. Just touch and go back up. And then pull this down. Like that. Yeah.
Wall drop.
Yeah. Keep your hips down though. So how demanding is this? Pretty hard? No comment.
It must be hard.
Yeah, it's so funny. We always joke about this, that if somebody just walks by our studio, they'll look in and be like, that guy's not even exercising. But this one exercise is probably maybe one out of a handful that would actually make him, this high school athlete, actually make him sweat, right? Go ahead and switch sides. So now the hamstring flexibility is one of the goals, but remember the main goal is to get that quad and hip flexor as contracted as possible in this position. So go even farther, pull this down, pull the toes down, keep going, keep going, keep going. Now I'm barely touching him right now. I'm just giving him a little bit of internal proprioception so that he knows which direction to go, and then go back down. What I don't want to do is just push it for him. I was literally barely touching him. So that's what you want. If you ever touch a client like this is what you want. So I can just say, a little more, 1 more inch. There you go, back down. 2 more. Don't rest, just go back up. Remember, time under tension. In every exercise, even the ones that don't seem like weightlifting, you're definitely lifting weights. Your hip and quad do not know how much weight is at the end of your foot. Thinks there's a lot, but there's not. Hold, keep going, keep going. Now here's another thing you can do. Push into my hand. Push, 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 push as hard as you can. Okay, now rest. Stay up though, keep your leg up. Now push into my hand the other way. Pull towards you, yeah. Keep going. And go ahead and lower down. Okay, so one thing I noticed too, at that